I'd say at the heart of what we're building, at the very heart of what we want to achieve, we want to build citizens of Armenia, we want to build citizens, Ruben, of Artsakh, and we want to build citizens of the world. And I say this as someone who's from the diaspora, and growing up, the emphasis was very much on preservation. Okay, preservation of language, preservation of identity, preservation of religion. And while those were important, what excites me about what we're trying to achieve in Armenia is that we're here in the front seat of driving an education revolution. And that's across formal education, that's across informal education, and I believe that what we can achieve, what we can build as a shared future is institutions that are innovating and institutions that are taking fundamental responsibility for the wealth of our nation, for the wealth of our diaspora, and that's our human capacity. And I think Mary Lou touched upon this, that what excites us as we build is the fire in the eyes of the children that we reach. So for me, yes, building, scaling, taking Co-op's successful pilot in Lori and bringing that to over 10,000 students nationwide, that's what we're building. But it comes from this primary sense of responsibility, of taking fundamental responsibility for our children and for the future they will build.
And just to concretize it for those who don't know, you all mentioned education, but you're doing very distinctive things. You know, IPE is running K through 12 education programs. TUMO is doing after-school tech and digital skill acceleration, and, accelerative building of those skills. And you described it as early childhood to job readiness. And some of the kids who've come through Co-op are now very much in the job market. They're all grown up. So can you just say a little bit of what you're trying to do with that pipeline?
It's a pipeline. And we think of education from early childhood, from the very first moments children enter school, preschool, through to their entry into the world of work. So we offer preschool, early childhood education. That transitions from age 6 to 18 into our Co-op Smart Center programs, after school programs. And then from there, we have, thanks to a diasporan supporter, one of the largest privately endowed scholarship funds, where hundreds of Armenian youth are studying in higher education. And then we provide career guidance and mentorship right into the world of work, into the world of IT, into the world of hospitality industry, into the world of agriculture, some of the largest drivers of GDP.
So I asked you, what is the biggest challenge? And you told me it's that we don't have the luxury of time. We don't have the luxury to be relaxed about this, and yet it takes time to build things. These are generational projects. So how do you square away that balance? And also, you moved here with the sense that you have a moral imperative, that this country is facing steep challenges like Aram, and you moved here after the 2020 war. So you really mobilized into this feeling. How do you balance that short-term, long-term pressure?
Well, first let me step back. I did move here, and there was a moral imperative for me to come to Armenia. The mission of Co-op is to serve youth, to serve vulnerable, and to serve underserved populations, particularly in rural communities. There is no future for Armenia without vibrant rural communities. And so I speak on behalf of the 2/3 of Armenians who live outside of urban areas. And they are the ones who are literally living on the borders. They are literally living between us and our borders. So there is, to me, a moral imperative, not just to provide equal treatment to our children, not just to provide equal treatment to the vulnerable, But to me, they make a special moral claim on us. That moral claim is to go above and beyond. So not just to provide equal, but to provide even more. The challenge, as you mentioned, is we know the work that we do. When you're in education, it's not a one-year job. It's a generational time scale. It's a generational time frame. And I think everyone here today feels that same sense of discomfort. Anhankistենք, shamanat չունենք. And yet we know we're running that marathon, that generational marathon, but there's no end, right? There's no finish line. So we know we have to sprint. We know we have to work smart, work fast, but we know we have to be investing in this early, investing in education continuously, and staying that course.
Thank you.